Hey, what's up, everyone? It is June 1st, late at night, about 10 p.m. my time, but just want to go over the trades from earlier today, especially the trade of the day. So, starting off right here with the Dow Jones right here, this is definitely the trade of the day. You can see right here, using the extension rebound trade, what we're looking for. We use this semaphore right there, and then we use this semaphore down here, and we just draw the Fibonacci levels. 100%, 0%, or the other way, doesn't matter. And you can see price came down here, hit off the 1.146 extension level. So when it does that, we look for it going back and hitting off the other way, and we look for it hitting off the 1.44, which it did, and the exit down here is the 1.146. So great trade right there, just getting right there. And then I don't take it down all the way to the very bottom. I usually get out somewhere like right around here to make sure you get out. And real nice, about 50 tick trade there in the Dow Jones, and so that's kind of the perfect setup for it right there. Looking at the previous days, using the previous days highs and lows, because a lot of the times that's going to show where kind of the stopping point is for the next day, and sure enough, that's exactly what happened. See, there's the low, there's the high, bounced off the lowest support, went up there off the high side of the extension levels, and then stopped it for the day. Now, it doesn't happen like that all the time. I'll show you, like, look at this day right here. And that day, price just powered up right through it. Got stuck at the 200 day for when it opened up the next day. But most of the time, you'll see it when it hits this level right around here for the previous day's highs and lows. Look for the extension levels. That's where you're going to see a slowdown in price movement right there. But that is the Dow Jones for today. We'll start up here now for the S&P 500. Got a lot of junk on the chart right here for it. One thing I'm looking at, I'll tell you what, let me get rid of this thing right here. One thing I'm looking at right here, just for the rebound retracement trade, for the is the extension kind of when it comes up back to it. So using again the semaphores right here, you can see price came down and then just started going down through it. Now you can see right here that it did break down from it and then came back up and filled it, because that's another trade setup I'm looking at. But I'm looking to see if it has to go down at least the 200% level, which is the purple line right here, and then come up and hit it for it to get in it. Because you can see it did hit the 200, came up getting kind of close without hitting it, and then pushed back up again. So that's something we see if that's enough for it to consider done, or if that's close enough to be considered done as well, since it came back down, or if you're going to wait until it's going to hit back up here anyways for it to be it. So a lot of things for this trade for me really start taking it, because because if this is the true entry right here, we see price really has gone up north of it, and the exit's going to be down here. But there was a couple I was looking at where price did go past it, goes up, hits the other way, and then comes back and down here and hits it for a real nice trade. So that is one setup that I'm looking for to see if this is something that I really want to, type of trade I want to take in my trading repertoire. Is this a retracement extension trade, or does the price need to go down to at least 200% before retracement back up for it to be valid for it? So that's one thing I'm looking at right there. And then coming in right here for today, what we're looking at for this one is, now this one will be a good retracement trade back to these levels right here. So we can see it powered up right through the extension levels. So when price comes back, hits this level, we're looking at getting long right there, and the exit's going to be right over there for it. And then let's say the 200, let's say it doesn't go up really high right there. What we'll look for the second setup is if we're reversing all the way back down. If it does so, then we look to get long right here at the 200, and next would be the 1.414 right there. But definitely what we're looking for is price come back here tomorrow. If it does and goes on down there, hits around 4207.50, we'll go long and look to get out right around there for around about 5-point gain for it right there for the S&P 500. Russell 2000, got a couple other ones looking at Russell 2000. This is the same setup we had. See semaphore, powered up through it. Didn't quite hit 200 yet, so don't know if I will. Yeah, it did go high enough, so we'll look to taking it if it gets back in there. And then for this trade setup right here, let's move this one out of the way. For this trade setup, see price, use that semaphore, and excuse me, that wasn't correct. This semaphore right there. See, price came back down, found support at 200, has powered back up to it. So price continues to move up here and hits the 200 level right up here, right there. We'll look to go short right there, and the exit will be down here at the 1.414 level for it right there for close to, we would get out somewhere like right around here, close to about a 9-point gain here on the Russell 2000. And then the other one that I just mentioned a little bit ago is going to be the extension retracement trade, where price comes back down, hits the 0.146. We'll just go long there, and then get out just before the 1.14 extension level for almost about 3.5-point gain right there. Going over to crude oil, you see crude oil has had a good pop up right here. So if this remains about the high level right over here, even if you go up a little bit higher, we'll look for the 2.618 going the opposite way to be the area that we'll just go long at, down over there. And the exit would be right there at the 200% level for it, assuming it doesn't go up and get really close to hitting the 4.236 extension level, 423.6 extension level. The reason why they're less than it, because when you go the opposite way for the way the Fibonacci extension level is set up, you have to put a negative number in front of it, and when you do that, it subtracts 100 from it. So you can see down here, they have the 200, 2.618, 4.236, but over here it's negative 3.236. So it's the same distance, it's just different numbers when you go on the opposite way for it. And so that's really the only trade we're looking at right here for crude oil. There is one, perhaps this is another one I had a question about right here. Because as you can see, price, you know what, this probably would be one we'd look at take for the extension rebound trade right here. Because we can see price broke through it down there, continue going lower. Now it did come back up, hit it, and then went and took it out. But I don't know if that's deep enough for TraceMe yet to consider it. But it's gone all the way down to the 4.423.6 extension level. So we would be looking at if and when price does come back and hit the 1.146, looking at shorting it right there, and then going all the way down there for close to about anywhere between 25 and 30 tick profit for crude oil. And as you see down here, we have had from that semaphore move right here, we've had the support down here at the 423.6 level for it. So if price does make a big move up, because this week oils, as up until today, had gotten destroyed pretty badly, we would look for price come up all the way up here at the 423.6 level, since that's where we got the rebound from down here. And if it does go up and hit that, then exit would be looked for down here is the 2.618 level for that one right there. And last but not least, I'll go ahead and take that one off. Last but not least, we can see right now we're finding resistance at the 261.8% level. So if we get a big retracement down there, we'd look to go long down here at 65.40. Then the exit would be at the 200% level for a good about 60 to 65 tick gain there in crude oil. So quite a few options moving forward with crude oil. Probably the most likely one going into tomorrow, since it's the closest one, would be this short potential right here for crude oil. Let's look at the MFI to see if that tells anything. It's coming off being oversold down here, so we do expect more of a move up. And then in the daily chart, it's coming off being overbought. So those are in conflicting movements right now for the MFI. Going over to the Nasdaq, the main trade we're looking for here, right here in the Nasdaq, is the extension mirror trade. I just made that name up, but that's the best thing I think of, because as you see down here, using that semaphore, and that semaphore, the price bounced off the 261.8 level and went straight through it, because originally the exit would have been down here at the 200, but when it keeps on going up and hits the next level, then we move the exit up to the original entry right there and would have gotten in right here. But I'm not trading that Nasdaq right now, just because the margins, especially compared to like the Dow Jones, the Russell 2000, are 2 and 2.5 times higher than it. So it's a lot easier to trade those with less margins than the Nasdaq, since the Nasdaq is the most expensive one. And so what we're looking for is a retracement, a move all the way back down here, which I almost hit today before we get that big rally up, but a move back down here to around the 1,400 and 14,225-ish level down there here in NASDAQ. And the 4-hour chart is coming off being overbought over here on the 4-hour chart. Daily chart is showing it is still going up. It's getting ready to be in overbought territory. And then in the weekly chart is still completely overbought over here. So we've been looking for that big retracement in Nasdaq that we just haven't received it yet. I mean, this has been going on now for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, about 13, 14 weeks so far here in Nasdaq, and that is the big weakness with MFI, is even though it tells you the potential turning point, it doesn't tell you exactly when it's going to happen, because you can see it's just been riding in that overbought territory. We haven't had that big sell-off that we're looking for, because like down here, you can see down here when it's being oversold down here pretty quickly in the next week or two, turned back up, had a nice rally up. Same thing down here, went from being oversold, a little bit of rally up right there. Down here, going being oversold, going up over there, overbought, and then we had sell-off down here. So we're just still waiting for a big sell-off here in the Nasdaq for price to turn around in it so far. And then going over to Bitcoin right here. See what we have going on over here. We have, using the daily chart right there, and see that we would consider that the 200%. So if price moves all the way down here to the 200%, we look to go long down here. The exit would be the 1.414. But if that does happen, that invalidates the 5-wave L8 move that I have signified by the yellow line right here, because one of the major rules is wave 4 cannot break into wave 2, which would invalidate that right there. But as long as that holds, the price target we're still looking at is $78,815 there for Bitcoin. If we go over to the 15-minute chart, see if anything's happening over here today. We had a big gap up here the other day, and let's see here. Going for the 15-minute chart. Look how it works here. We had a that's not correct. That's correct right there. We had a big push up that blew past it, and look what happens. Price comes all the way back down. Hits right off the 1.146, and would have completed the trade real easily, right up there for the, and hits the 1.44 for the rebound trade to work. And then if we were looking at a mirror trade from this move right here, not saying it's going to happen, we'd look to get long at the 6.85% level, which would be all the way back down over here around 25,000-ish there in Bitcoin. But that's all that's happening in Bitcoin. Still looking for that big move up. You see MFI. MFI is in the middle of nowhere for the daily. Almost being overbought here on the weekly, not quite. And we've had a move back down here since. So maybe reloading until looking for another move back up. But anyways, those are the analysis for today. Like I said, the big good trade today was here in the Dow Jones. This was the easiest one today. Bounce off there, and then for the mirror trade, go short, hit it, bam, done. All right, thanks, bye.